We about to talk about mental health and how important it is for your own mental safety, for yours, for your family. Every step that you take in life is very important, but mental is definitely the top priority. And that's what we're going to talk about, especially being in my position and how I have maintained myself over the time. So if y'all want to watch it, y'all are more than welcome to stick around and be a part of the conversation. And if not, it's all good. At least you know what you're getting right when you walk in the door.
Right. And share it with your friends because we all have that one person that
Right.
needs to hear how to overcome it. And David's story, I mean, come on. How do you start from like just like basic living, and then you turn that into like a career? Like you're known.
Yeah,
Like you
it's
out
it's
here.
weird. It's still weird to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I've been plenty places, and it's
Uh-huh.
been awkward when people be like, "Yo, Mac, what up? Yo, excuse me," and like I'm not home. Like I'm in like what's a weird place I've been at? I've been in like I've been in like Minnesota. Like I don't know nobody in Minnesota. Yo, Mac, what's up? I hit the airport. I'm in TSA. Yo, you're that TikTok dude, right? So
Right, because you are out here known for the people. And it's like, wow. I'm just over here in the background, like, oh, I knew him from high school, y'all. Like,
right,
that's my homie.
right, definitely high school. Around the corner at that.
Right. When Crystal was like, nah, yeah, he lives right there. I was like, oh,
Right.
really?
Oh shoot!
No.
Speaking of, she just joined.
Crystal, hi, best friend. That's my homie.
Yeah, I haven't been live in a minute.
Nervous? You all right? You got some water? You
Do
you
I?
you good?
I really don't have water, but I'm not nervous at all.
Right, because he's like, I do this. Nervous why? Nervous where?
Right.
Anyway, I'm just glad to have you here, man, for real.
I'm glad to be here.
Because we gonna have this conversation. We gonna
Right.
we gonna get it going. Anyway, so here's what I do. I spam the mess out of my people on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to do the same. Um, because I invite. And I found out if you don't personally invite people, they ain't gonna
Yeah.
show up.
Yep.
They'll like see me and like glance over it and it's like, oh,
See, that's a different thing too. I appreciate you, Mills. That's the thing about me. Uh, I don't share stuff with people. I don't tag people. I don't share nothing. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, then that's on you. Like I don't tag nobody.
mm, that's interesting.
That's probably why I have a chip on my shoulder. Y'all was want me shooting in the gym. Y'all didn't care about this. Forget that.
Listen, I'm not, listen, if I were you and I had all these millions of followers, I'd be like, you know what, Jermaine? Just put it out there and then they just gonna come rolling in.
I don't even have millions of followers.
Jermaine's not there yet. So what I have to do is I
Mm,
gotta be like, hey yo, join in, let's talk
right,
because or let's talk, join in, let's listen. Anyway.
right.
So it is about that time.
Let's do it.
So here's how this goes, right? I'm gonna do a lovely introduction. And then after the introduction, we're going to get the ball rolling into the questions because David needs no introduction. I mean, it's not like they don't know who you are, but I have to, by formality, I have to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Facebook, Instagram world, hello. So, for David's people, Mac, sorry, I'm going to get there. Mac. For the people who are here to see Mac and don't know who I am, my name is Jermaine. I am a mental health therapist. I am a coach. I am a licensed professional. And this is it's not really a podcast, but it's a podcast by faith. We're manifesting here. We're manifesting here. Okay. So This is about we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to talk about David's story. This is a series. This is episode 8. This is episode 8, y'all. I originally had 4 episodes, and then people just kept hopping on. So this is episode 8 of a series I've been doing called Black Man Heal. And I had to get Mac on here. I said, listen, every man that's been on here, I have personal relationships with. These are my homies. These are my besties. These are my buds. These are my people, right? And I said, well, Mac, you up. like,
Right.
like,
Right.
I need you here because you belong here. So Mac, let's see. I know him as other names, but for here, his name is David Mac Thompson Jr. He is a friend from high school. Let's see, what doesn't this man do? Most of the world knows him as Mr. Excuse Me. Now, when he showed up on TV, interviewed by my like childhood crush, Mario Lopez, I said, "Oh, he made it." I said, "Go friends." Still waiting for him to put me on, but you know what? That's fine. That's fine. He is Mr. Excuse Me to the world. He is David to most of us who know him from Brockton. That's why I had to represent Brockton Boxers.
Word.
We graduated together in '07. Let's see. He is a teacher. He is a street ball extraordinaire. He is a social media influencer. He's a girl dad. He's a husband. He's a son. Did I leave anything out?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of it. I think you got it. I'm black. I guess that's a start.
Yeah, I always throw that in there. And he's a black man. That's why he is here. In case you haven't known by the melanated skin that he has. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Mac, welcome to the platform. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Appreciate it.
I had to try to make sure I had it. I had to make sure that the people knew
You
who they were
sounded like
sitting
you
in
had it
front
written down.
of. No, off the top of my head only.
Oh,
Like this
okay.
is because I know you. It'd be different if I didn't know you. I would have been like, I don't
Right.
know who he is. Let me get a bio. Like send me
Ah,
your bio, sir.
true.
But
Oh
anyway,
man.
as I mentioned, David and I, we have conversations all the time. Like this is true. Like we're peoples, right? This isn't no made up stuff. So
Yeah.
this is just going to be Jermaine and Mac having a conversation, and you guys are just going to be privy to his story and all the lovely things that he has going on. Um, so let's just hop right into it, right?
Word.
So one of the reasons why I wanted Mac on here is because he has a story, right? And like I said, we were neighbors, didn't know it. So I seen
Right.
him from I won't say the bottom, but I seen him from the beginning to
That's the bottom. That was the bottom.
okay, the bottom. And I seen him just continuously like elevating. And the fact that he never gave up, like there are times, and we've had conversations. I don't know if you remember that conversation in that pizza shop where you were just like, Jermaine, I'm good. I'm good. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you can't give up because like you have to be here and there's so much in store for you. So, let's talk about that story. Like, how did we progress to present day? Like, how did you stay in the fight? What was that like?
Um, Honestly, I think as a ball player, a lot of people have this story, and if they don't, they might be questioned as a hooper. But
Mhm,
basketball is actually one of those things that it's a healing process. Like
mhm,
I've learned people's personalities through basketball. I've learned how to calm my own self down with
yeah,
basketball. I've like there's so many things that I've learned. And I stopped playing basketball for a certain period of time, and I was trying to be active. I was trying to find other things to do. So when I was trying to find other things like dancing and whatnot, like I used to crump and all that. At that point, it wasn't. It was good for the time being, but it wasn't.
mhm,
It wasn't me. It wasn't the flow that I wanted. So when I actually came back and started playing ball again, I got the vibes back. I put it that way. I got the vibes back, and I was like, yo, you know what? I'm going for it. And I use basketball as healing, and I used it for fun. Like I play ball to have fun. Whatever stress I go throughout my day, I take it on the court and I just let it go. And then I just kept going. I found other creative ways to make it work for myself. And with me creating videos and editing and trying to bring street ball back to the fit to the way that I enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
I actually opened up a door where a lot of other people now understood that.
Mm-hmm.
So when other people are like, yo, I remember that. Yo, I used to play ball like that too. Or, yo, I didn't know people still do moves like that. What up, Juice? Yeah, once I was all said and done, I kind of got my flow and I just stuck with it. I literally didn't stop after that.
Mm. Okay. All right. Speaking of, so here's what I know about him, right? So it went from just some regular old David, just being David, right? Then you were a rapper, right? Like Mac isn't just the street ball name. Like Mac is the kingdom
Yeah,
what
an acronym.
acronym.
Yes, motivated A, motivated M, A, activate the kingdom K. Motivated to activate the kingdom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when like him and Junior were out there rapping, that's when I was like, okay, he got some bars. But then he stopped rapping for whatever reason. We'll get into that story, right?
Word.
Then you didn't even play ball in high school, college. So I was like, where did this basketball thing come from, right? So you went from David to Mac to Mr. Excuse Me, Mac, like all of these lovely, I won't say personas because it's all you, right?
Right.
But tell me, I mean, we know who Mr. Excuse Me is. He has 1 million followers, maybe even more. He's
I don't
known
have
out
a
here
million.
playing street ball, rolling and hooping and all of this fancy stuff, right?
Uh,
Mac, and I still have his CD in my mama's car, y'all. He gave me
Dang.
one of the CDs. I still got it. Yes, I do. I'm a fan. I am a fan. You know what I mean? He
Word.
has that. All of these lovely things that you are. But tell us about David. Because I don't think your people know David.
Well, contrary to what everybody believes, David is actually a really quiet person to himself. Kind of wants to stay out of trouble, stay out of everybody's lane. Um,
Mm,
David stays in his lane. He minds his own business, and he just lives life literally on a smooth roll. Um, Rapping came into play because obviously I'm a big hip hop person, and I was
mm,
really into the hip hop. Like I've always been into it. Um, then I wanted to transform what I listened to and make that into something that I could minister to people with. So
mm,
I go to church on Sunday, and then I'm being raggedy throughout the rest of the week. That's not the way I wanted to live. So I changed that around and I started rapping to the beats that I listen to. So I'm a big Dipset fan. I was rapping over their beats. I would listen to G Unit. I'm rapping over their beats, trying to find a way to have a positive message inside of the mess that you normally see. And
mhm,
then the street ball has always been a part of my story. It was just I wasn't respected in the street ball world or in the basketball world. When I was doing a
mhm,
lot of my moves, people didn't rock with it. People didn't like street ball. People didn't like doing those moves or they didn't like seeing it. They kind of made me feel like I ruined the game by doing moves like that. I'm stopping the flow of the game. There was so many things that came with it. So I had to kind of teach myself how to play ball differently. Um, Play organized, play appreciate it, play organized, play strict within like the format. And
yeah.
then I think when the opportunity came, Max started developing more out of that. because David was a rapper. David liked to be creative. David liked to be to himself. But I was always put in these situations where I had to be more expressive and do more outstanding things, to say the least.
Mm, mhm, mhm. He is definitely a creative. And so, I think that's the beauty of his part of his story, right? Is that you take what you have and you try to like make something out of it, right? Literally what you do on the court. Like sometimes you're playing with some really dope people, sometimes you're playing with some not so dope people. So you have to get creative, right? And then writing music, right? You're starting off with pieces and then you orchestrate it and then you got a song out of it, right?
Yeah.
So a part of what, I wanted to kind of bring out is that the men that I've had on before, a lot of them didn't have like a huge community of men around them. Most of them, it's like it was mostly women, like mom,
Yeah.
grandma, sisters, aunts, whatever. But
Mm.
you are like, you have brothers, you had your father, and other men around you. So, how did that play a role in your success? Like, did that make success more attainable for you?
It was bittersweet, to be very honest. Kodak, I hear you. I know you have a game today. Just make sure you stay focused, stay locked in, be confident, and be calm, and play your game. Don't try to play somebody else's. Um,
Go
but
ahead. Yeah.
right. But my story was, yeah, I had my father, but he wasn't he wasn't living with us.
Mm,
Unfortunately, there was a divorce when I was really really young, and then I had a stepfather who was in the picture. Um, but my father was always around, so there was no sense of neglect, no sense of absence or anything like that. But uh, when I got to the point of being older, I understood what my family outlook was, and that's what caused me to be more to myself, because
mm,
my last name is not the same as my brother's. My last
mm,
name is not the same as my sister.
yeah.
My skin color was different.
Mm,
So I kind of had a lot of moments where I just felt different, and it I kind of played into that, like literally, like when it came to music, nobody in my family rapped. I did. Like when it came to basketball, my older brother was an all scholastic player. He was a phenomenal player in high school, so I was trying to live up to his name, but at the
mm,
same time, it was still for me. Like
yeah.
I made a path for myself, and I
Hmm.
had to stay strict with what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the outline of the family definitely took a toll, because trying to figure stuff out on your own and trying to figure stuff out with, you know, gut instincts isn't easy ever.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So how did you do it? How are we able to put the pieces together? Because I think something that is a part of my brand is reaching out to the misfits of the world or the black sheeps of the world,
Hmm.
because we often are trying to find a place and we don't have a place, right? So we're
Right.
always like moving in these places, seeking validation, seeking acceptance, seeking purpose, right? And
Yeah.
from what you just said is that even though you were surrounded by a group of men, which unfortunately a lot of black men don't have, you still were trying to find a place. So, how do you put the pieces together? How do we go from I'm different, I don't know where I fit, to you created a lane and now you're walking in that?
Well, you actually already kind of said it. Seeking validation was probably one of my biggest mistakes, but
Mm,
that's kind of where everything was built from. Because I wanted the approval of so many people. Being by yourself and feeling like a loner is cool to an extent.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, it's cool to an extent, but after that, it's kind of like you want people to like you. You want people to rock with you. You want to be on the in crowd.
mm-hmm,
And it took me many, many, many years to kind of get over that. But
mm,
I I definitely was the outcast, and I think I got okay with being the outcast.
mm,
How did I get there? a lot of prayer, a lot of trial and error, a lot of tricking myself. I had to trick myself. I had to tell myself I don't care when I really did
Mm,
care.
mm,
Like when my friends or the people I wanted to be my friends weren't my friends,
mm,
I had to do other things for myself to make myself feel my own value.
mm.
So not to say it was the like it's not positive. That's not positive. But it's just being real. Like I literally had to just trick myself into being like, you know what? If they don't care about me, then cool. I'm good. I don't care either.
Mm. Now, listen, y'all know I'm one for a dramatic pause because we can't just say something like that and then brush over it. I have to convince myself of my own value.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that, but we just need that to like sit for a little bit, let it marinate on some of your hearts because that is so, ugh, it speaks to me, right? Because I think when you can't see yourself in the large scheme of things, you're often just making stuff up. And you're like, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if it's making sense. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I have to do something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that
Cool.
just by just let us know I had to convince myself of my own value.
Yeah.
Elaborate,
Um,
please.
um, just like water, just like air, just like any substance that can just be pushed along. The phrase is called "go with the flow," and that's literally how I lived a lot of my life, as far as just going with it, whether I liked it or
Hmm.
not. Just went with it because it was the cool thing to do or the popular thing to do. And
Yeah.
when it came down to it, after some time, it was like, realizing like I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be a part with those crowds. I don't want to be friends with them.
Hmm.
But a lot of those choices that were made in a group made me feel like I was being, there we go. I was conforming. That's what it was. I was
Mm,
conforming to what other people wanted to see.
yeah.
Not what other people wanted to be. I was conforming to what other people wanted to see. And over time, I realized and stepped out of that. Like, yo, I don't like doing this. I don't want to be a part of this or whatever. And when I actually had to sit with myself, sit with David, and figure out who David is, it took a lot of processing because
Mm,
not a lot of things Mac would do, David wouldn't do. So um, that's kind of where that sits. Like, and not to say I'm completely healed and over it, but that's an ongoing battle.
mhm, mhm. So I did warn him that Jermaine often throws these little curveballs. So curveball number one, right here, right?
Hmm.
There was a conversation that me and you had, right? And I was like, Mackenzie's cool, Mac is cool, David's cool, Mr. Excuse Me, he's cool too. But I remember something that I said was, are we hiding David? And we're putting on the mask of Mac. We're putting on the mask of Mr. Excuse Me. We're putting on
Hmm.
the mask of all of these other things. And, I think you had like a little pause after I asked you that question.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because I think when you're seeking validation and you're not comfortable with self, you're like, I'm going to be something else because David
Hmm.
ain't it or Jermaine's
Yeah,
not it. So let me put on something that's more acceptable, right?
yeah.
So do you feel like that's what you were doing? And if so, where are you now with letting go of the facades and letting go of the mask and saying, this is me and I'm okay with this and this is my truth?
I have that answer. Um, David was hiding behind Mac. David is quiet, chill, really easygoing.
Hmm.
Mac is the person that is in front of everybody, the life of the party. I'm probably the biggest social bug. Mac gets all of that credit. Mac gets all of that love and appreciation. He gets all of that. Where
Hmm.
David falls into, David is stingy. David is like, If I don't want to do it, I'm gonna stay to myself, and I'm okay by being by myself. Um, but the battle of the two always comes down to literally either you want to be by yourself and you want to be a loner, or do you want to hang out and actually be a part of everything else that people want you to be a part of. And the
Yeah.
thing is, Mac is not a follower. Mac is not a follower in the slightest.
Hmm.
um David kind of flows in that, like he tries to be that. But the thing that helped me is separating myself from the things that I was doing in the first place. So I will say it, going to college changed
Hmm.
all of that, because
Yeah.
I'm not with all the people I went to high school with. I'm not with the people I was with in middle school, elementary school. I wasn't with everybody that knew my background. They knew my story. I can literally start over brand new and feel like I have a new life of some sort, and I can be who I want to be, and people are either going to be okay with it or not. And
Hmm.
there's nothing that they can change, nothing I can change about it, because that's just what it is. So
Hmm.
I think from college and moving on, I developed putting the two together of
Hmm.
being David and being Mac, and it's okay. And I think I got accepted for being that.
Hmm. Yeah. Listen, I wanted to bring that up because it does go into one of the questions that I did have for you. Um, but I think what you're saying is so rich because when you are in this world and you're trying to understand how in the world to do it, how in the world to live it, you have to say, like, how do I fit into this picture? And if you don't believe that you fit, you start to create identities and
Yeah,
personas, if you will,
right.
because you're like, they want this, so I'm going to give them this.
Hmm.
But then it's like, here's what I learned because my story is very similar to that. I was like, they don't want me, my quirky, weird, awkward stuff. They don't want that. They want someone cool, someone well put together because I was a little messy back then. They wanted all of that. And it took me to realize, like, even if they accept my persona, they're still not accepting me because that's not me.
Right.
I've given them a version of me that is okay with them, right? And
Yeah.
so that leads into my question about grief. And like, grief is not just the loss of a loved one through death, it can be a
Hmm.
loss of an identity, a
Yeah.
loss of a relationship. Like, grieving, it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
blank, period, right? And then it often like shatters us and leaves us in pieces. So you don't have to share everything. But is there something in your story where you're like, this thing left me in pieces? And if so,
Yeah.
how did you put it together?
For what I, hold on just a second. Turning this volume down because it's a little loud. Um, yeah, one part that was big and major was my mom moving. That's like probably one of the biggest hits I've had.
Hmm.
My mom moved when I was a teenager, and oh, Peyton's alarm. Yeah, my mom moved. She moved states away, and she was like my biggest lifeline that I had. And when she moved, I had to understand life on my own, or I feel like I had to understand life on my own.
Hmm.
All the people and the resources that I trusted were gone. So the grief came along with everything I knew was taken from me, and I had to rebuild. So I
Hmm.
trusted heavily on my relationship with my wife. I trusted heavily on my relationship with whoever wanted to be around me.
Hmm.
And that's for positive and negative. Whoever was around me, I gave them my heart because I felt like I can trust them. And it put me in different positions where I was very uncomfortable with everything, like with my decisions, with other choices where I worked. Yeah,
Hmm.
I trusted people more than I trusted myself. And that's, yeah, because of my mom moving when I was very young. I was 19. I had to get my own apartment. Like I had to do stuff like that. Like, this is not like little, oh, I'm gonna go to this school, or I'm not gonna go to work today. Not little stuff. Like, where am I gonna sleep?
Mm,
Where am
mhm.
I gonna live?
Yeah.
So maintaining those things was very, very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, when you lose your support system, either because of location, because of death, whatever, that's hard. And this is why I needed a platform strategically made for men,
Hmm.
because your stories aren't heard. The narrative of the black man specifically are told by everyone but black men,
Right.
right? And so um, I remember I was rewatching some of the episodes I did before, because shameless plug, next week there's a panel discussion, a Q&A. So come back next week, 7 p.m. Anyway, so I was rewatching some of the other episodes, and something that I think it was Uzziah, I believe it was Uzziah, he brought about is that men aren't allowed to be weak,
Hmm.
because they always have to figure something out. There's always something for a man to do. There's always someone that needs him to show up in some form or fashion. And he's like, well, I have these emotions, but I have to put them aside because I have to show up over here.
Yeah.
But then he never returns back to self. And this is why we have shattered men. We have men who are in pieces and they're just like, today I can put this piece together and there's 70 more over there, right?
Hmm.
So I want to ask you about your narrative and like, what does it mean for you to be strong? Because first of all, I know there's a lot of black people who hate that word.
Hmm. Right.
Black women hate that word. Like, don't call me strong, because it's not a choice. It's almost like an obligation. Like, I have to be strong. There is no
Yeah.
in betweens, right?
Right.
So, your strength, where do you get it from? How do you define it? What does
I,
that look like in David's world?
I feel like I definitely get my strength from God. I get my strength from my relationship with God. And where that
Mm,
comes from is now understanding my story, because I didn't understand it when I was going through it. But the after and understanding where I'm coming from with a lot of this helped
mm-hmm.
me build where I'm at. But
Yeah.
to answer that, I feel like being a provider is something I naturally just started doing. But
Mm,
and I'm saying it to be open and transparent. Like, even within my marriage, there's certain things that I struggled with because
mm-hmm.
I was so used to doing certain things a certain way, or my mom took care of XYZ things a certain way. And then me, as trying to, like I told you, my mom moved when I was 19. I had to learn so much in a short amount of time because, or I felt like it was a short amount of time because life, I felt like, was rushing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
by the time I was 25, I wanted to have XYZ. I wanted to have mad stuff done. And I forced it and I rushed myself. But one thing from my side, I think the being a provider, being like, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you have to be able to provide. Doesn't matter for what. You want to go to work, you have to provide your job. Like, you have to provide excellent work habits for your job so then you can get money, get paid or whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
provide somewhere else. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
never ends. And from what the last person said, like you said, they just they are forced to do these things because there's like a big to-do list. And
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
get the hang of one thing, you have to move on to the next thing. And you never give yourself another chance. You never come back to yourself to fix any pieces, or literally just to calm down, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you have to do for self. You don't really get that opportunity because everything is such a next step, next step, next step, next step. And
Mm-hmm.
we are never taught how to take a break, or we're not even allowed to. I can't say
Mm-hmm.
we're not taught, but we're never allowed to, because then
Yeah.
we take a break and then we look like, yo, you're lazy, you ain't even trying, you ain't even doing this,
Mm,
yo, you're not this type of person, or
yeah.
whatever. We
Yeah.
don't get that leeway to do that because every day there's something else that we have to do.
Yeah. Listen, you're dropping bombs and pearls and gems, whatever you want to call it. Because listen, what you were ending by saying is so true. And it is why unfortunately, a lot of people of color do not seek the help that they need because it's like, I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to put anything on pause because things just keep moving. And I think you're the first one out of all of the 6, 7 people that I've had on there that's actually married, right? And so I can't ask them. I can ask them relationship stuff, but not like
Yeah.
marriage, right? So as a man, showing up in your marriage, showing up as a father, like how have you been able to navigate those when your story is like there's pieces, like I got a little bit of this and I'm trying to put this together, got some of this and I'm trying to put this together. So how did you become father and husband, and how do you show up in those arenas all the while still trying to be a teacher, Mr. Excuse Me, social media influencer,
Hmm.
ball player, traveling ball player? Like this man doesn't just play ball in Massachusetts. Like he's in Chicago, Ohio, LA, you name it, he's probably been there. So how do you manage it all?
Um, I'm gonna be very honest. I don't. I'm actually not that good at it. Uh, being honest, I use basketball and traveling and creating content as a distraction. There were certain
Yeah.
things I didn't want to deal with, so I played ball. There's certain things I didn't want to do, so I left to play ball. And if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to hear something, I started editing and doing other stuff that took my mind off of it. On one end, it looks like I was, yo, my man's hustling, my man's working. No, that's just evidence of me avoiding a problem. And
Mm-hmm.
um, turning around to change that story, I felt like, and with all due respect to everybody on the live that's watching me, all the people that follow me and all that, but I I put my appreciation in y'all hands. So if you all liked a video or you all made comments that were funny, you all said something to me, I took that as validation and appreciation more than me seeking appreciation in my own house.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be too deep, but it's all good. um, but not realistically, trying to manage all of that is very tough. So there's moments where I don't post every day. Like I have enough followers where I don't have to post every day and they're
Mm-hmm.
still going to be there. Like I'm like all my people that are supporters of me, I call them the home team. Everybody here is on the home team. If you're really down on the home team, then there's no worry about, oh, when he's going to post another video, when he's going to do this, when he's going to do that. I'm handling life. Like a lot of my videos on my page now are literally, I can call it my bare minimum edits. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a little bit move because I'm dealing with so much other stuff. Like being a dad is very serious, especially the world that we live in. I have a girl. I want my daughter to know that her father is there, that her father is present, that her father is definitely in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to her school stuff, I will leave my job and show up for her, whether it's a recital, her singing, or whatever. I show my face for my wife, wherever she needs. If she needs help, she needs something to get picked up, or she needs any type of assistance, I'm gonna make sure I'm present. I'm there. So I'm changing a story that I thought was real at one point because I was hiding, and
Mm-hmm.
I think now I'm at the point where I'm wherever I'm at now. I'm here. I'm already Mac. I'm already Mr. Excuse Me. I'm already a traveling ball player. But there's time and place for everything. I
Mm-hmm.
I think a writer said it or a preacher said it. Don't quote me on it, but you can't. It's impossible to give 100% to everything.
Right.
You're gonna give 50% here. You're gonna give 15%. You're gonna give 10. You're gonna give another 20 another place. So
Yes.
managing those things, you have to know when it's time to give something to 50, when it's appropriate to give something to 10, because
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be spent. You're gonna be spent trying to give out so much. You need to give yourself a percentage, and I'm learning that. as we speak. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm learning it as we speak. And it's been taking, like, I want to say probably about 7 months, 7 months for me to be here where I can accept all of this and be okay.
Mm,
Was that the answer
let's
to your
see.
question? Because that was a lot. All right.
I applaud you, sir. And here's why I applaud you, right? A lot of stuff he said, I was privy to, but this is news for y'all.
Right.
But hearing the growth of when him and I first started catching up and checking in and stuff to where he is now, he's right. It's taken some time. But something that you said is so rich. And I think, given the generation and the culture that we're in now, people are like, oh my God, he must have it all together. He is traveling, he got all these followers, he got what, no less than 900 likes on everything that he posts. His life must be great. And you just said, listen, I'm struggling and I'm trying, and this is an ongoing piece of my life that I have to figure out on the regular. Can you speak to that? Because I think, and here's why I say this, right? We all know Jermaine works with a lot of young people in the therapy office, in the church, outside of church, whatever. I work with a lot of young people. And you don't
Mm.
know how many times I ask these little beautiful faces, so what do you want to do when you get over? I want to be a social media influencer. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah.
Right. Um.
And I was like, well, we have a social media influencer, but he still has a day job.
Right. Right.
Like, Mr. Excuse Me is not David's only, sorry, Mac's only income. Like, this man has a whole day job and
Hmm.
still has the followers and is still married and still has kids and still is active in the church and does other things. Like, you do a lot of stuff. So can you talk to, let's let's
Yeah.
let's let's shut down some of these stigmas and these false narratives of
Right.
everything's perfect because I got all of these followers.
Well, first off, I'm still the man. So I work for that and I'm calling it. I'm still the man. But realistically, being a social media influencer is cool, it's fun, it's dope. It's it gives a lot of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But with the right opportunity, don't take that as that's gold. Me, I am a gym teacher. I still go to work every day because that's a solid paycheck that I can rely on first and 15th every 2 weeks, whatever. I'm on salary. It don't matter. That's my
Mm-hmm.
check that I know I worked for. Social
Mm-hmm.
media pays you almost when they feel like paying you. Unless you get a booked opportunity, it's, and I know it depends on what you're doing too. I'll be honest, because I feel like now, and just being very open and honest, I feel like now everybody wants to be a basketball influencer because it seems like it's the easiest thing. It's not, because now that everybody wants to do it, other people get paid more or other people get paid even less. So you're in competition with millions of other people. And
Mm-hmm.
being a social media influencer, now you're relying on the algorithm to help you out, because it's not about, well, for social media, it's not about who you are in
Mm-hmm.
person. It's about who you are on camera, who you are on screen, who you are on your phone. That's what
Yeah.
that relies on. So
Yeah.
if the algorithm messes up, who are you? That's a key question you have to ask yourself. So where I stand, that's why Mac is Mac. That's why I am who I am. Because even when the camera's off, even when I'm not playing ball, even when I'm not rapping, even when I'm not teaching, I'm still me no matter where. You can see me at the movies. I'm still going to be the same when you see me at the park. I'm still going to be the same when you see me at the mall. So my character is what makes me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend of mine who said, "You don't go viral, you are viral." And when he said that, it was like simple. It's a couple wording, grammar things that you would change, but that made a big difference. So once he said that, it kind of made me stand on who I am. even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, social media is not. It's dope, obviously, because things on Instagram are based off a screen. If the screen looks good, you look good.
Mm.
So that's really what it is. So trust me, there's a lot of rappers I know that be fronting. So like, I still have a job. I have, and the thing is, don't let me knock all the social media influencers. There are some influencers who do this for a living. Like, they don't have a job. Their job is this, and they
Yeah.
get paid really good money. So if that's what people
Mhm.
who aspire to be, you have a lot of work to do. Because I have a friend, I hope he forgives me for saying his story, but I won't say his name. He moved he moved from where he was born to another
Mhm.
state.
Mhm.
He knew nobody. And then he just basically, just like people who do street performances and stuff like that, he was dunking. He was dunking on performance. So if you paid him, he would do a dunk for you.
Mhm.
And he literally did that till he was getting $1,000 such coming home. And
Mhm.
then some days would be high, some days would be low. And then the right person seen him and invited him to dunk contests and invited him to other events. So then he started to get paid more. But it took a lot of hustle. That's not something that happened over days. This took
Mhm.
months. So if you have the
Yeah.
hustle behind what you want to do, then I commend you and I push you. But um, yeah, that yeah, if you want to do it,
Mhm.
go for it. It's gonna take work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, people are like, "Oh my God, it must be nice owning a business." I said, mm. It's great. It's great when your name's on something and you can call it your own and you have creative ability to do whatever you want. Yeah. Yes,
Hmm.
it's great. But ooh, they don't tell you that entrepreneurship is not a 9 to 5. It is not an easy,
Nah.
here's 40 hours. You get paid. It's like you have to constantly be doing
Hmm.
something. You have to consistently pushing out content. You have to be creative. You have to figure out how to stay in your lane because people will try to pressure you into shifting into other lanes. Try this, try this. Now,
Very right.
David, sorry, Mac is your
Hmm.
name. Hmm. Mac got endorsements. When I see him, was it Wilson that got you an endorsement? Is that who it was?
It was Reebok, Wilson, um, a little bit of Red Bull, Body Armor,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
Way of Wade. Um, yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about this, but I want to address this.
Yeah.
Uncle Squirrel. I appreciate the comment. I definitely do. And to be honest, I play anybody who's on the court. But realistically, when I play basketball with the flow of people, I play in a sense of wherever the game is going. If I'm playing people that just want to have fun, then I'm going to have fun. If I'm playing against people that want to win, then I'm not going to do the moves and be the Mr. Excuse Me guy. I want to play to win. So I play within the form of the game so I don't ruin the game. Because I know a lot of people have the stigma of these social media ball players. Oh, you only play against bums. You only play against the whatever. Realistically, I'm playing whoever's on the court, but I understand the game enough to play to have fun, or I'm playing for real. The clips where I'm playing for real are really boring. I'm shooting jump shots on everybody, but Instagram doesn't like that, so I don't care. So there's your answer. All right. Yeah, you can go back to that. My fault.
So, in case everyone on Facebook is like, who is he talking to? We are also live
Uh,
on Instagram, and
right.
someone just tried to come for his neck, and he just had to
No,
let
he
people
he came
know.
he came at me respectfully. It was respectful. I just had to answer that because I get that a lot, so I'm addressing it.
Anywho,
All right.
we were talking about, social media influencing, and he does get a lot of endorsements and stuff. But one thing that I appreciate about Mac is that he stays humble. Like I don't see a difference in him, and I've known him for 18,
Yeah,
17,
yeah, let's say 18, 17, 18 years.
long time. I feel old, but anyway, I've known him for about 18 years, and the Mac that you guys see is the Mac that I met on the porch way back when. Like he's grown, obviously. He's elevated and matured, obviously. But money changes people. And when you're known, that changes people. Like I made a joke and I joke with him all the time. I said, hold on, I have to get myself together because I'm interviewing, not really interviewing, but I have a whole celebrity on my page. Like I have to be together. And he's like, oh my gosh, stop. Because it's just me. And I appreciate that because it is just him. Like, again, I have a different name for him, but he is who he is. And that hasn't, all of this accolades and all of these followers hasn't changed him. And that's beautiful. And I think it takes, as a man, it takes a lot of people to kind of like sit you down and be like, sir, you're great, but just
Yeah.
stay here. Like,
So no, and I'm gonna tell you too, where I stopped rapping at
mm,
the first time. Where I stopped rapping was
mm,
because I wasn't being humble. There was this
mm,
competition with rappers, and basically it was like a battle, and everybody was rapping against each other. Not it wasn't a battle rap, but it was like, let me rap my verse, you rap your verse. If my verse was better, I get I get a belt. I get the credit. I win.
mm,
And I came to one event and I tore them up. Like there was four people and I tore them up. And I mean that
mm.
in the humblest way possible. And
Yeah.
I was good. Like you literally take a belt home. Took the belt. Oh man, I was on cloud nine. And then my music changed after that. Or maybe not my music, but my verses changed after that. Like the way I'm rapping, the way I was writing changed.
Mhm,
And it didn't come off humble. It came off mad arrogant to the point
mm,
where the next competition happened 3 months after. And I go to it and it didn't sound like Mac. And the funny thing is, I remember almost every verse I've ever written, but I don't
mhm,
remember that verse. I was like, yo, what was I saying? It had no substance. It had no type of content. It was trash. And I lost.
mhm,
I lost that
mhm,
battle. Once I lost, I stopped rapping for years because I literally had to sit myself down and be like, yo, this is not you. Like, don't lose yourself in the craft. You are who
mm.
you are because God allowed you to be who you are. Don't
Yeah.
don't fall to the crowd. Yeah, don't fall through the cracks trying to be one with the crowd. Just be yourself and the crowd will
Mhm,
come to you. And what you saying everything before, all the accolades I had, trust me, I can go on and on and on about all the stuff I've done, the people I know, the conversations I've had, the blue checks that are in my DMs, the checks that are in my accounts. Like I could talk all about that. But at the same time, that doesn't make me a better person. It doesn't change anything. Like
mhm,
it's stupid. Like I can say this part that I can't tell you what movie, but I am in a movie getting paid for it and it's great. But at the same time, I'm still me. Like I'm still like this doesn't change anything.
mm. He's in
So
a movie. Well, that part was news to me, but it's okay. I'm sure at some point down the line, I might know a little
some point.
more. I mean, that's amazing, and I'm proud of you for maintaining and putting these pieces together because that's a major part of this brand that you have and the story that you have, right? So, we're wrapping up. So, if
Hmm.
there's any questions that people have, feel free to ask him. Are you coming back next week
I
for the
believe so.
panel?
I believe so. No guarantees though. No
Great.
guarantees. No guarantees.
Okay. Well, while we have you here, one thing, obviously, this is a mental health awareness platform, right? So, counseling, have you been? Has it
Hmm.
worked? How do you feel about counseling? How would you advocate for mental health?
Absolutely. I currently do see a therapist. I see a therapist and I talk to them probably once every 2 weeks. And honestly, it's good because sometimes it's not all about because people think of therapy as, oh, they're trying to change me. No, they're just trying to make you into a better person. And me being a therapist at some point in life, I understand that work that comes with it. There's homework that you have to do. There's some self application. There's some uh, self awareness. Like you have to dig into yourself to realize who you are. So there's some work that has to be done. But sometimes the other side of it, you sometimes just need somebody to talk to. Like you need somebody that you can just literally get everything out with no judgment, with no questions. Well, there's going to be questions, but with nothing that's going to change your relationships.
Mm,
So seeing a therapist is not a bad idea at all. Like I recommend it for a lot of people.
yeah.
Because me playing ball, I love basketball so much, but that's not the answer. Like I can shoot 1,000 jump shots and still be homeless and living on the street. Like it doesn't matter. Like you have to talk certain things out, and when you talk to a person, they also do have the advantage of helping you out and giving you resources that can help you make things happen. So
Hmm.
closed
Hmm.
mouth don't get fed. You have somebody to talk to. I recommend that if you have the opportunity, please do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. So, one of the last questions that I do have for you is every week I try to make sure that the guys leave a message with the viewers, right? And obviously, there's a lot of women who watch this, but again, this platform was created specifically for men. So, what final words would you give to men and how they can stay in the fight? And how can they pick up the pieces of an unfinished story and make something beautiful and fun and amazing out of it?
Well, just like in one of my videos, I can easily say mental health is very important. Make sure you
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself. But real to be serious, that is actually a
Mm-hmm.
serious statement. Um,
Yeah.
you definitely have to take care of yourself. I'm not gonna say you always have to put yourself first, but you have to make yourself a priority and do what makes you happy, but
Mm-hmm.
don't be irresponsible. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what that means for a lot of people, but I feel like you have every right to do what makes you feel happy, but do it within a purpose that makes you want to take the next step forward. Like there's people that take what is it? There's people that take their birthday off of work. That's great. But
Yeah.
if you need the money, I suggest you still go to work. Like it's like that. Like you have a
Okay.
choice. Take your choice. Make your choice.
Yeah.
But just be responsible.
Mm.
So excuse
Be
me. That's my answer.
responsible. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I agree because there's a lot of people who do not put themselves on a priority. I do this thing with my clients all the time. I'm like, name the top 5 people that mean the world to you and that you show up for. And if they get through the 5 and they're not on it, I said, this is a problem
Hmm.
because your mom, your kids, your partner, your friends, they all need you. And so,
Yeah.
how are you not on that list? Like, now listen, I've been guilty of it. I've been
Hmm.
probably number 10 on my list. But
Yeah.
oh, best believe Jermaine is like 2 or 3 right now on her list, right?
Right.
Because I am no
Hmm.
good to my clients. I am no good to the young people that I lead. I am no good to my friends if I'm not okay within self. And it took me a while to be like, okay, it's okay to say no. It's okay
Yeah.
to step away.
Yep.
Like the world isn't going to crash and burn if Jermaine says no and doesn't show up this one time.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Anywho, so if there be no questions, Mac, it's got it. I got it.
You got
Took
it.
me the whole episode, but I
Uh
got
huh.
it.
Right. That's all that matters.
Mac. Because I when I give people nicknames, I just don't even remember their real name at times. So, and I've been calling you that since 2004, 5. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anywho, thank you for being
Mm.
here, sir.
No
You have
problem.
definitely said some amazing things. You definitely recapped a lot of the themes that we had over the past 7 weeks. This is the end of my
We
Black
made it.
Man Hill series. Like,
We made it.
thank you. Thank you. individuals, because I do have a panel coming up next week. I am bringing all of the men back. Mac may be here. Nonetheless, you just seen him. So
Right.
if you have questions for him, you know where to find him. Or maybe you don't. Mac, tell the people where they can find you, how they can follow you.
All right. Well, it's your man Mac, and I am on every social media handle that I can think of, as far as Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, even Pinterest. You can follow me at I am Mac _07. You can message me, holler at me, whatever you need. I bring positive basketball content, and I'm just here to have fun, and I have manners. Excuse me.
Yes, sir. All right. So next week I am bringing the men back for a Black Man Heal panel Q&A discussion. This might be 90 minutes. It might be 2 hours. I don't know, because the men that I have are great. Like my aunt, hey auntie, she's watching and she says I never shout her out. Hey auntie, uh, she is like, you know, a lot of great men. I said I sure do. I'm spoiled. These
Yep.
men are great. I love them. They are amazing. Some of y'all get on my nerves though, but
Hmm.
you know, it is what it is. Anyways, again, thank you for coming on. I hope that everyone has a blessed night. And please, 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 if you are doing nothing next Tuesday, 7 p.m., the same platform that you are seeing me on right here, I will have the men back. I will have, let me see if I can go in order. I will have Chris. I will have Uzziah. I will have Wayne. I will have Darnell, JQ, Darren, Corden, Traquan, and maybe, just maybe, if he has the availability, because y'all heard this man is booked and busy. Mac might be back.
Yep.
So thank you all for joining in. I hope to see you guys next week. Be blessed. Share this if you're not watching this live. Share this with anyone that you know who needs it. And I'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.